Hey everybody, welcome back to FPV Builds. So we have another unboxing video for you here, and this one's actually something that's kind of special. We spoke to the manufacturer when this first came out, and we're probably one of the first people to have this. This came from China. This is a very new product. It's a game-changing product, and I hope that it's as good as I think it's going to be, and if it is, it's really going to change the space in a specific category. Without saying too much more, I want to kind of surprise you, so let's get into it. So this product was announced approximately 2 months ago, sometime in July, and it came from China. This is the first item that comes from this manufacturer that is kind of into the hobby drone slash DIY space as far as like FPV goes, as far as foam kits go. This manufacturer does make other drones and other camera products. They are a pretty large manufacturer. I actually have a drone from them as well because I hate DJI and I refuse to own anything DJI. And my hate for DJI comes from a couple years ago when I actually did a little bit of drone work professionally. I was paid for a job. I did all of the proper requirements to be able to fly in specific airspace. I went through the Lank system. DJI was notified. Like, everything was set up perfectly. And after all that, my drone still would not be able to take off. And it was an Inspire. It was an expensive setup at the time. Had the X5 RAW camera on it. And I let the manufacturer down. So there you go. There's your first glimpse. This is the new FIMI Manta VTOL fixed wing. This is the first time that FIMI is made something that's entering this space. So one of the impressive things about this is a VTOL drone that is under $300. Actually, way under $300. So this is going to be game-changing in the VTOL space. Right now, currently, there's only a couple of options to get VTOL drones. You can do the HEE T1 Ranger VTOL. That plug and play is over $300. You can do the Zemo Pro, the OMP Zemo Pro. That one is $1,200. Okay, Albert makes a VTOL. I believe that one is $600 or $700. Doesn't come with a flight controller. That's just for the foam, the motors, ESCs, and the kit. This supposedly is the included flight controller, the whole thing. This is they're basically ready to fly. Hook up your receiver, program it, and ready to rock. So this is pretty cool. Oh, I cut that piece off already. So let's see what we got here. Very nice. They include a thank you card. I am an early adopter of this product, so that's very cool. I'm sure that comes with everybody. It's not just mine. And this is how it is packaged. Let's get everything out of here. We'll slide all the boxes out one by one, and we will see what's included. Hoping this is relatively easy to set up. So I hope you're subscribed and you're following, because in the future I am working on getting a Zemo, the ZMO from OMP Hobby. I also have my own VTOL kit that I am working on, my own DIY VTOL I'm working on. I have the Ranger, the HEE Wing T1 VTOL. So I want to show everybody all of the different options that are out there for VTOLs, right? And what you can do with them and the price ranges. So if you're subscribed, you're going to have some fun in the future, because we're going to dive down some pretty cool stuff. And I'm going to go through the comparisons of which one is the best one for somebody who wants to build, get a little bit more involved with the build. One that somebody wants to, kind of plug and play. So have lots of good options. Okay, so unlike the HE Wing, the boxes aren't numbered. on the HE Wing, the boxes are numbered. So I'll just take everything out of the boxes. So there's a little instruction manual. Back to the side. This is the fuselage. Oh, there it is. There's the flight controller. Very cool. I believe all in, I can already tell you I'm not a huge fan of that, so that's not glued down, as you can see. So I can tell you I'm not a huge fan of that, because that might cause you some issues down the road. That should be glued down, so I'll check the instructions if that's supposed to be like that. You know, the flight controller almost looks like an older Omnibus F4 kind of flight controller. Kind of weird. There's a micro SD card right there. Doesn't look like it's really held in much. So it does have plugs for the wings, so that's pretty cool. Yeah. Alright, here's the hatch. Okay, wow, these motors are tiny. That is a tiny, tiny motor. Holy cow. Look at that. Just to show you, I will get a regular sized mini quad motor and show you the size of that motor. Alright, so as I was saying, to the size of the motors, and yeah, this is a pretty small motor. So this is an old red bottom. This is a 2205, and you can just tell how much smaller that motor is, even the profile. Does look like a pretty nice motor though. It's nice and smooth. So I'm guessing this piece is for down here if you want to swap that out and put a camera piece in. It's kind of what that looks like. Alright, I'll have to figure out what that is. So that's box one, and that's everything that came out of box one. Let's see what box two is. Okay, what do we got here? I'm sure I'm going to have to read the instructions to go through all of this. Red and black lined vinyl. Okay, this is a VTOL setup. Very cool. One thing I can show you that I don't really like already is the first servo has metal gears on it. That's the servo for the tilt mechanism of the motor, which is pretty cool. Same thing. It has these same tiny motors on them. I can measure out the motors afterwards and I'll tell you what they are. I'll get my calipers out. Don't know why it's got a second servo on the back. That doesn't really make sense. Unless this is for the tail. No, that doesn't make sense. Interesting. I'll have to look at the instructions, right? Because if it's just a VTOL, it should only have one servo to tilt up and down. Unless this controls the control surface or something. That's maybe how they're controlling the ailerons. Interesting design. This is pretty hefty. This is aluminum. It's not plastic. Everything does seem to be decent quality. Even the wiring is silicone wiring. And here's the wing plug. So that looks like it's pretty good quality as well. Nice clean soldering in the back. So, like I said, the only thing I think is a downside is this is a plastic gear servo. So I don't know how I feel about that. Same thing. Opposite side. Okay. Yeah, I mean, everything looks pretty cool so far. Quality looks good. I like the aluminum controller. And see, that's where I'm like, why would you put a Metal Gear servo and an aluminum control rod and then go with a plastic geared servo? That doesn't make a lot of sense. And even the servo cases, like, they're plastic. This right here almost looks like 3D printed plastic, or... Yeah, that's plastic. That looks like it's 3D printed too, by the way. Pretty cool, though. Listen, you know, when you compare the price versus this versus the ZMO, the ZMO Pro, I believe it's called, the one from OMP Hobby, I mean, this thing is way cheaper. And just so everybody knows what I'm referencing to, I'll put a picture up of the ZMO Pro. What I'm talking about. So that's the OMP ZMO Pro that I'm talking about right there. This is a, you know, $1,200 VTOL. So, you know, you would expect the quality of this one not to be as good as that. What else do we have in the box here? So these look like covers. There's going to definitely be some assembly required with this drone. And there wasn't a lot of information about, like, what flight controller and stuff like that it was running on. I'll put a link to the page that I got this off of in the description. I don't think... I haven't really seen a lot of advertisement or anything about them, so get some wires. I'm guessing these are for video setup, FPV video setup. We have some more control surfaces. I'm guessing these are for those back servos. So yeah, those servos probably control the control surfaces, the ailerons. And then we got some, looks like 2 mil thick carbon fiber spars. Wing spars. It's going to be interesting to see how this stacks up to the HE Wing, because that one is actually, the non-plug and play version of the HE Wing is actually more than this plane is, which is pretty interesting. So see what we got here. Okay, we got wings. Foam feels pretty good. Foam feels about the quality of an AR Wing Pro. Or an AR Wing. That's about what the foam feels like. It feels exactly like an AR Wings foam. Or Adam RC Dolphin. It feels just like that. There you go. It's meant to be taken apart. And, yep, just as I assumed. Yep, there we go. So just like I was saying, that's kind of a little cheesy. This plastic doesn't seem great for this control surface, I gotta tell you. It seems like it's a brittle plastic that would break pretty fast. I do like how it's got a larger surface that is embedded into the wing a little bit more. But I gotta say, if you take a hard landing with this, I don't think this control horn's gonna be here for much longer. Yep, so just as I was assuming, right, and I'll just do this really quickly for you because I can't get into the whole build right now. Guessing that this goes here like this, right, slides in, yeah, slides in like that, right, there you go, and then that goes there like that. And boom, there's your control surface. So control surface. So there you go. That's what that back servo is for. And now that I know that's for the aileron, which is probably going to be your most used control surface, I definitely don't agree with their decision to put a plastic gear servo on that. The difference between plastic gear and metal gear servos isn't a lot. I mean, you can buy Emax Metal Gear servos for 9-gram Metal Gear servos for like $9 or $10. I would have actually rather pay a little bit more to get Metal Gear servos for this. And this pops off. And then there, it's held on with 3M double-sided tape. Once you're done, you put the control surface. When you put this piece in here, and then you're done, that gets glued back on. So, if I was going to do some upgrades, the first thing I would probably do is get rid of these and put a through hole one, because you can tell it doesn't go all the way through the top, so it's relying on this surface here with the glue. That's the first thing I would probably get rid of. This has some little push button jammy here, so I guess it's for a quick wing disconnect. I could also see that breaking in the future. It is, that's what it's for. So I could also see that breaking in the future as well. Let's check out the other wing. We'll get this stuff off the table real quick, and we'll show you what the full plane is going to look like. Now, like I said, I have to go through and do a bunch more as far as like programming it, like a receiver and everything like that. I will try to get that done as soon as possible. I've had a couple of crazy weeks lately with school and work and or kids. I live a pretty busy life, but this is a project that I want to get out in front of and get this done rather fast. So, alright, this is just a quick fit up I'm going to do for you. Stay in place. There you go, that's that. Yep, just like I said. Alright, right there, I don't like that. So, that goes into there, clips in there, and you can see how quick I can just pull that out without even having to push the button. So that's another area that could potentially fail. Not a huge fan with that. This is a small plane. It's probably like 950 millimeters or somewhere around there. I don't see the need for you to be able to have to take this off. So, and that I'm already having issues with that just clicking on. And it's just a plastic piece with a spring. It's not like a crazy mechanism. So, I would recommend bypassing that, because you can tell I'm already having issues just getting that to stick. And look, it's popping out of the foam already. This is a bad situation right here with this setup. I'm just going to be 100% honest. I would rather have one that fit together with a screw. That would probably be better. You know, if these two mounted into each other and then you had to put a screw in one of them, like most, RC airplanes do for wings, I would agree with that, because this isn't a good solution. This is going to be problems for you. So that would be the second update I did. I would get rid of this solution and do something else, or just fix the wings and glue them on and make them tight and forget about this altogether. But for the purposes of right now, let's just get this together for you. You can tell I'm already putting a little bit of pressure on this, and it's already having a hard time holding that on there. So you can tell what that, after a lot of use and a couple of hard landings, you can use your imagination on what that would be like. I'm guessing this one goes this way. Oh, I did that backwards. I'm being a bobo. Alright. Okay. Okay, that goes there. And the wires go through there. Got a little channel right there. And that goes there, so there's that. Look, see how it just fell off already? Like, come on. That's a horrible solution. Horrible. And I'm not knocking the product. Like, I give them a lot of credit. For them to come out, listen, I want everybody to understand right now, I think for the price, this is going to change the game of VTOLs, right? This makes VTOLs reachable for almost anybody who is able to own an FPV plane, right? This is approximately the same price as a bunch of bind and fly quads that you can buy. I mean, this is great for what it is. I am not knocking the product. I'm just telling you some of the things that I don't like that I would do differently. I think for what they've accomplished here, I think this is fantastic. It really is. So, you know, I'm a fan of this. Let's see how it flies, obviously. But I think they did a great thing with this. The design, at first when I was looking at it, I was like, it kind of looks like an ugly duckling. But, you know, it does look pretty cool. So that's pretty much what you got there. That's it. Alright, so that's pretty much what we're talking about. And, you know, it's about the same size as the FIMI. So, I think it's going to be pretty cool. Yeah. I think they did a great thing. I think this is awesome. I'm building, I have my own VTOL that I've been building. It's a quad plane configuration. And I can tell you, between buying the airframe, all the electronics, everything else, I am way over $300. And this is, I believe it was shipped to my door for $249. All in. So, great deal, great price, great package. It's a new product. Obviously, there's going to be some issues. Maybe, you know, if we give them some feedback, they'll change some of those concerns on V2. If the product sells enough, they'll go to a V2. Like I said, I have one of FIMI's drones. I have an X8 SE 2020. I think it's a great product for what it is. It's cheaper than a Mavic. It's about the same price as a Mavic Mini, and it does a lot of great stuff. And the best part of it, no remote ID. So, same thing with this. No remote ID on this. So, I'll go through it. I'm going to get you some more specs. I'll also add the page to the video where you can get it, some of the specs and stuff like that. Alright? So, thank you for watching. I will also put the T1 together with this one, both side to side, you know, not built right now, but as a side to side comparison. And then in the there's the HE Wing or HEE Wing. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know how everybody else pronounces it. And the FIMI is definitely a smaller bird. So just a size comparison over the top. There you go. Yeah, it's definitely, wingspan is about the same. They're about 950 millimeters both, but the FIMI's definitely shorter. I wonder what the flight characteristics of the FIMI are going to be with this tail, because it's kind of funky. I'm not going to lie. It does look like a manta ray. Alright, side by side comparison. There you go. And you can tell I'm having an issue. Without the spars in the FIMI, you can tell I'm already having an issue with the wings holding on, and it's because of how they have that setup as to where the whole wing slots in. So this is a much sturdier design. So you can see, without the carbon spar in here, this is kind of all that's holding this wing on right now, and I just hate this design so much. And you can tell that's why it's so floppy. As opposed to this, like, this is solid. This isn't going anywhere. And it's not even fully clicked in. You can see how much more solid it is. So, they're going to have to change this in the future. But yeah, they're two totally different shaped birds. So, and then the VTOL mechanism, while I do like this simple all-in-one clean solution, like I said, one thing I don't like is this doesn't have a Metal Gear servo for the aileron surface, while this does. This has a couple of extra pieces for the tilt mechanism, while that doesn't. So, comparably priced, very similar in certain aspects, very different in others. Built right now, but as a side-to-side comparison. And then in the future, we're going to be doing flights of home-built VTOL. Hopefully, I'm trying to work out a situation where I can get my hands on the ZMO Pro, even if I can, you know, test it and give it back to them. for content purposes and for the overall VTOL purposes, because I think VTOL is going to be an important sector for our hobby. So, you know, we're going to test all of these out, and I will be honest and tell you what I think the best solution is for somebody to get into a VTOL for a good price. So, thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you're subscribed, because we have a lot more great content coming out in the future. Thank you.